Hi everyone, my name is Nancy, and for my Stackathon project, I built a Chrome extension to track symptoms of relapsing-remitting MS over time, and I'm calling this tool mySymptoms-MS, and primarily right now it's a tool for me. So the problem I was trying to solve is that with MS, as with other chronic illnesses, symptoms fluctuate and change all the time, and those changes are super important for your doctor to know. But you only go to the doctor maybe once every 6 or 12 months, and I personally never remember how I was feeling maybe 2, 3, 4 months ago. So when my doctor asks me how I'm doing, I always say I'm fine, not remembering that I was like really tingly and strange 3 weeks ago. So my solution ended up being a Chrome extension that I'm intending to use for daily use to keep track of my symptoms each day on a scale of 1 to 10 for various MS symptoms. And I wanted to post that data to a Google Sheet for later use. So briefly, the technologies I used were the Chrome Developers Console and the web store. I needed to sort of pseudo-publish my extension in order to get authentication going. I also leveraged the Google API console in order to get OAuth 2.0 credentials, and I tested my post requests in the OAuth 2.0 playground. And I leveraged the Google Sheets API, obviously, to do the post requests. Underneath the hood, it's just client-side JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. So how it works briefly is that there is a pop-up, just like any extension that you guys have used. And when you click the pop-up, some HTML is rendered to give you a DOM. And then you have a JavaScript file in the back that's listening for change events on that DOM, so like user submissions or changes in the input fields. And behind the pop-up script, there's a background script that's listening for messages and data from the pop-up. And that background script actually does all the heavy lifting of taking care of the authentication and the post request to the Google Sheet. So briefly, I wanted to talk about the authentication, just because this was the most challenging piece. I ended up leveraging the Google OAuth 2 implicit grant flow as my authentication method after going through lots of other different types of authentication methods. And the way that this works is that implicit grant flow is generally used in applications where secure APIs only need to be accessed when users are present, so no confidential information ever needs to be stored. So upon first use, when the Google Sheets API is pinged for the first time, the user will be, or the application will be issued a token, and then that pop-up will come up, and you guys have all seen this before, asking you if you give permission to the application to use your data. And once the user gives permission, there's an access token that's then used in subsequent API requests. So the user grants permission, and then there's an HTTP post request that is issued to append the user's form data to the existing Google Sheet. And then the user can analyze and visualize their own data whenever they need. So now we can do a brief demo. So you guys can see up here, I have my little extension icon. And when I click on it, we have our little pop-up. And each of these is just a number field, just for the sake of time. This is not actually how I'm feeling today. And anything else of note, I'm just going to say that I'm feeling fine today. And once I submit, the pop-up goes away. And when I go over to my spreadsheet, I can see that today's result has been appended to the existing sheet, including my journal, which maybe I can, if something new had happened today, I'd be able to go back and reference when I went to my doctor. And you can also see that this existing chart has been updated to reflect today's result. So some future features that I've been thinking about. Right now, the user actually needs to create this spreadsheet ahead of time. So I'd really like to be able to auto-create the spreadsheet within the application so that users don't have to worry about formatting or input or anything like that. I'd also like to implement SMS reminders, because it would really stink if I didn't put in data, so the data couldn't have been relied upon when I went to the doctor. And last, I'd really like to package and publish this extension so that others in the MS or maybe other chronic illness communities could use this tool. So that is my Stackathon project. Thanks so much. How do I take